Imagine growing up with two fathers. One is highly educated, respected, and believes in the traditional path. Go to school, get a job, work hard, retire comfortably. The other never finished high school, yet builds businesses, invests, and becomes financially free. Robert Kiyosaki calls them his poor dad and rich dad. Two men, two opposite beliefs about money, and their lessons shaped everything he knows about wealth. Poor dad believed that financial success came from education and job security. He'd say, "I can't afford it." Rich dad would ask, "How can I afford it?" That single difference, a statement versus a question, separates those who stay stuck from those who grow rich. One shuts the mind down, the other forces it to think. Poor dad taught safety, rich dad taught courage, curiosity, and control. The key message? It's not about how much money you make, it's about how you think about money. Both dads valued education, but in very different ways. Poor dad said, "Go to school to learn how to work for money." Rich dad said, "Go to school to learn how money works." Traditional education teaches people to become employees. Financial education teaches people to become owners. Rich dad believed schools produce workers, not wealth builders. If you understand how money moves, taxes work, and assets grow, you gain power most people never have. As a kid, Robert worked for Rich Dad, cleaning stores for 10 cents an hour. When he complained the pay was too low, Rich Dad smiled and said, "Now you're seeing how most people live, working for money and staying stuck in fear." He explained that the rich don't work for money, they work to learn. They study how money flows, how to make it grow, and how to control it. Money should be your employee, not your master. The moment you start chasing paychecks, you stop chasing potential. Rich Dad's advice: don't focus on earning more, focus on becoming more. That was the first and most powerful lesson. The mindset shift from employee thinking to investor thinking. In part 2, we'll dive into how Rich Dad defined assets and liabilities, and why that simple distinction separates the rich from everyone else. In the last part, we learned that the rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. Now, we'll dive into the real secret of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, understanding where your money goes and how to make it come back multiplied. It all starts with one simple idea. Rich Dad used to say, "The number one rule of wealth is to know the difference between an asset and a liability, and buy assets." An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out. It sounds simple, but most people get it wrong. They buy big houses, cars, and gadgets, thinking they're rich. But every month, those things drain money through payments, interest, and maintenance. Rich people focus on building cash flow. They buy stocks, real estate, businesses, things that generate income even while they sleep. The poor and middle class buy liabilities that look like assets. The rich build assets that buy more assets. That's why wealth isn't measured by what you own. It's measured by what pays you back. Rich Dad's next advice was simple but powerful. Your profession makes you a living. Your business makes you wealthy. He taught Robert to never rely on a single paycheck. Even if you have a job, you must build your own financial engine, your investments, your ventures, your side hustles. Your job is temporary security. Your business, your assets, are long-term freedom. While others spend to impress, the rich quietly use extra cash to buy or build income streams. That's how you move from working for money to having money work for you. Here's where schools fail us. They teach you how to earn money, but not how to manage it. You can have a high salary and still be broke if you don't understand cash flow. Rich Dad taught 4 basic terms everyone should know: income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. If your money flows from income, expenses, you're stuck in the rat race. But if it flows from income, assets, more income, you're on your way to freedom. Financial literacy means knowing how money moves and how to direct it. The rich study taxes, investing, and debt. They don't fear these tools, they master them. Because in reality, the financially educated rule over the financially uneducated. Most people increase their income and immediately increase their spending. New job, new car, new expenses. It feels like progress, but it's just a fancier rat race. Rich Dad's solution? Keep your lifestyle stable and pour the difference into assets. Let your assets pay for luxuries, not your labor. That's how the rich keeps getting richer. Part 3. How the rich create money and the final lessons. In the first two parts, we learn the foundations of wealth, the mindset shift, the difference between assets and liabilities, and the importance of financial literacy. Now in the final chapter, we'll explore how the rich create opportunities, master risk, and use education to stay ahead, all leading to true financial freedom. Poor Dad believed money was limited, that you had to work hard for it. Rich Dad believed money is abundant. You just need to see opportunities others can't. He said, the rich don't wait for money, they create it. Opportunities are everywhere. A new business idea, a market shift, a property deal, a stock undervalued. But most people never see them because they're too afraid of losing. The rich aren't reckless, they're prepared. They study, calculate, and take educated risks. The poor say, I can't afford it. The rich ask, how can I afford it? That small shift forces creativity. It turns problems into possibilities. That's how the rich invent money, through mindset, education, and courage. Most people chase higher salaries. Rich Dad said, don't chase money, chase skills. Every valuable skill you learn multiplies your earning power. Sales teaches persuasion, marketing teaches visibility, investing teaches patience and judgment. Poor Dad told Robert to specialize. Rich Dad told him to diversify his skills, to learn accounting, management, investing, and communication. Because the more you understand, the more valuable you become. You don't build wealth by working harder. You build it by thinking smarter. Rich Dad said the primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage fear. Everyone fears losing money. The poor let that fear stop them. The rich use it as fuel to learn more and make better decisions. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Every mistake teaches a lesson no classroom can. The only true risk is never trying. Rich Dad believed that courage and knowledge combined are unstoppable. Another powerful lesson from Rich Dad was generosity. He said, if you want something, first give. Money flows to those who circulate it, whether through value, ideas, or kindness. Scarcity closes doors. Abundance opens them. When you teach others, invest in others, or help others grow, you expand your own capacity to earn and create. So here's the complete philosophy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The rich don't work for money. They buy assets, not liabilities. They build businesses and income streams, and they let their money work harder than they ever could. As Robert Kiyosaki said, the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If trained well, it can create enormous wealth.